So we finally got Marvel Zombies, so let's talk about it. This episode was definitely the second best for me so far. It was so tense, I literally couldn't sit still while I was watching. I was walking up and down the whole time. I still like the third episode a little bit more because it was more grounded and not so over the top, but it is definitely close. As always, there are a few annoyances I have with the episode, but there were a lot more things that I really liked. First of all, I really liked how they built the scenario with a proper explanation that really shows how the infection started, how it grew and reached the Avengers. The storyline is also really solid. There are a few weird things that I will get to later, but mostly aren't that bad. What I liked the most about the episode though is how many references to the movies are there. In this episode, I really felt like these were the characters from the MCU movies just thrown into another situation, which is something a particular episode, Doctor Strange, really failed at, in my opinion. The only exception I have is Spider-Man, who didn't feel like Tom Holland's Spider-Man at all for me. I can't even really tell you why. For all other characters, you can just instantly notice that they are the same we know, which is really important for an animated show based on live-action movies. I felt the same for episode 3, but in this episode, I for the first time noticed all the references to the movies. I'm also really surprised how ready Marvel is to doom their universes. This one and the one from episode 4 are surely destroyed, and also the one from episode 2 is in really grave danger. As I said before, I have some annoyances with the episode that I'm probably alone with, but still bother me. The first one is that they just let Hope get turned to a zombie without removing or disabling her suit, since they already know how disastrous an Ant-Man suit with a zombie inside is. I know they needed Hope to carry them, but they could have just destroyed the suit afterwards before she turned fully into a zombie. Then there's the portrayal of Vision. That one makes me a little angry. It feels like, because of WandaVision, now they think they have to really lean into that love between Wanda and Vision, which just doesn't feel like Vision. Luring people into a trap to feed them to Wanda while having a potential cure for the virus is so irrational and dumb that I can't see that as something Vision would ever do, no matter how much he loves Wanda. He is still a supercomputer. Sure, he has emotions now, but that doesn't change the fact that he is a supercomputer. It feels like leaning very, very heavily into that love is the only thing they know how to do with Vision now. And killing him, obviously. Lastly, the ending didn't make a whole lot of sense for me. Why is Thanos already infected? Why is he in Wakanda? And how did Wakanda get overrun? All things that can be explained, but at face value just don't make a lot of sense. After I praised the explanations at the start, I wish they would have gone all the way and explained that instead of going for a cliffhanger. But whatever. It's honestly not as big of a deal for me as I make it sound. Episode 6 was really good too. It had one of the best and most complex storyline out of all the episodes so far, and I really liked how it portrayed the characters really faithful to how they were presented before. The plan of Killmonger is really elaborate, and this episode really does him justice. It portrays his intelligence, planning and combat prowess, but also his ruthlessness, and that he is willing to sacrifice others for his plans. Tony Stark is also exactly portrayed how you would imagine him if he wasn't Iron Man. He's still brilliant, but uses it for the wrong cause. The experience of almost dying by his own weapon still changed him, but without Yinsen and the cave, it changed him in a different way. He doesn't want soldiers to die, but doesn't accomplish it by becoming hero, but instead by building unmanned drones and more potent weapons. This episode perfectly shows that for him it is a thin line between being a hero and being responsible for thousands of deaths, which you also always felt in the first Iron Man movie. The supporting cast, including Pepper, Rhodey, General Ross and Shuri, also really fit their role in the MCU. So all in all, it's a really good episode, definitely in my personal top 3.